Quilt Roadies. You don't know how much I need you this afternoon. I mean, I cleaned up today, washed my hair, took a shower, put a nice top on, and in anticipation of doing a live Facebook video with my friend Ariane, and it was we are bound and determined to do it again, but needless to say, it didn't come off like we thought it would. And I was telling her, she's in New York City, and I was telling her, even though it was like in the 30s outside, there's snow and slop all over the place, I was sweating because it was so stressful. And so then I thought, well, okay, let's stop and move on, and I'll do a Quilt Roadie video because I want to feel better about myself. And the sun is coming out. I mean, ice is falling off in huge chunks. It is a disaster here, and I know for many of you across the country and in the Pacific Northwest, it has been, the storm that we had was an epic 40-year storm. It hadn't happened quite like this in 40 years. And the trees, I mean, there's over almost 200,000 people without power. And some people won't have power for a week. I mean, we are so blessed because we never lost power. This neighborhood is fairly new in that I think it was started in the late 90s, early 2000s. Well, that's not that new. That's over 20 years ago now. But the power lines around here are buried. There's not lines above ground, although behind us, on the lane behind us, there are some estates back there, and they do have lines, but I guess they never lost power. Some of my stitchy friends in Salem and Silverton, and they all lost power. I mean, yeah, I would be doing handwork with a flashlight, lots of batteries. Because that's what you do when you're stressed out. That's what you do when you're stressed out. So today, I'm just here because I was stressed out this morning trying to figure out that live Facebook. Oh my gosh. It was just a cluster, let me tell you. So I decided I needed, what do you do when you're stressed out? You do stitching that brings you calmness. And for me, that kind of stitching is wool stitching, because I don't really have to count anything. And I'm talking about primitive folk art wool stitching, where I don't have to figure out how to stitch. It's either a whip or a blanket, you know. And so that's where I have come today to spend time with you stitching. And I did prep the February home block. See, there's my prepped block. So I have to start stitching on that. I've given myself a little bit of grace in terms of, as long as I start stitching it in the month, I would prefer to get it done in the month that it was supposed to be, but you know, you gotta roll. You gotta roll, be flexible, forgive yourself for all your shortcomings or perceived shortcomings. And so as long as I have the block prepped in the month that it's designated, and I'm going to blame the entire move on this again. I know you guys are tired of hearing this, but the move threw my schedule totally off. So this February block got prepped. And just so you know, I prep my blocks with fusibles, soft fuse. I get my soft fuse. It comes in a tube with 3 1-yard cuts, which lasts me quite a while. I get it from the Stitch and Post. I think they still carry it, but you can check. So I always keep a roll ahead because I know I'm going to use it. That way, whenever I want to stitch, I can just pick it up and start stitching. And then I peel the back off of this. This paper is part of the fusible. It's only sticky on one side. And when I start stitching, I peel it off. And there's no drag, there's no gumminess or anything with the soft fuse. But let me tell you, I do use steam when I'm adhering the pieces. It says you don't need steam. Different parts of the country, I think, with different temperatures or climates, fusible works differently. So you may want to find out what works for you best. But I know for me, fusing the front, fusing from the back, that's where I go. So I finished stitching January's. Isn't that cute? And now what I'm doing is a blanket stitch around the circle. I already have my back fused on to cover up all my ugly stitching. And now doesn't it look like I'm a fabulous stitcher? Nothing showing. And I'm going to do a blanket stitch all the way around. And I noticed in the pattern that Stacy might have chosen to change threads, so she might have used one thread here and then changed to a different color down here. I don't care. It's folk art, and so I'm using a color that I want to use around the whole thing. I'm not going to stop. And you'll notice that mine looks a little bit different than hers. There's her pattern. And I tend to do this. I tend to just do, I mean, I use the basic pattern. I appreciate the basic pattern, but then I kind of give it my own twist, you know, to kind of make it my own. And so instead of having kind of snowflakes all over, I had this star stitch coming out of the chimney there, and then I found a little star button to put on top because I'm done with the snow actually falling. It's fallen, it's on the ground, and the sun is out. What can I say? And so today, while we talk, I am going to do the blanket stitch around, and then I'll actually have one done. And then I'll start stitching on the February one. When I prep something like this, I don't just prep this. I know that I'm going to get my fusible out, because I keep it wrapped in the original package, the original tube and plastic it comes in to keep it, the integrity of it there. And I know it's kind of like those of you who've done paper piecing know what a mess it makes. So it's like once you get it out, I tend to do 2 or 3 preps of 2 or 3 things. I figure, well, if I'm making the mess, and the process is, I'll kind of like make it a conveyor belt, kind of. Remember Lucy and Ethel eating those chocolates? Yeah, it's kind of like that. So I never just prep one thing. And that may be why it looks like I get more done than I do. I don't actually, but I'm like a step ahead on some things. And I'm still trying to figure out where everything is. So I'm just about done stitching Remember the Giver, Timeless Traditions. But I have no clue what I did with the sashing, the cornerstones, and the border fabric, you know. Where I'm pretty sure I bought that as a block of the month. And so, and I remember having the fabric. I swear I remember. But isn't that the way? I mean, it's like I saw this commercial with this actress coming out with the movie, and I said, she's married to some other actor. Well, that's an open statement, isn't it? And then it was about a half hour later that I went, Sean Penn, she's married to Sean Penn. It's kind of like that in my brain. It's like I can't sometimes remember right at the moment, but given time, it'll come. I'll just pick it out of the air. And so I would like to put that top together, because I think it'll be a quick top to put together, and then I'll have one project ready. Well, why do I want another project ready for quilting? Yeah, and I'm going to quilt something this week, I've decided. This is what I'm doing for Christmas. Okay, yeah, I had my cup of coffee this morning. It's the afternoon. I know I'm a little bit wired, but, you know, what can I say? But I decided, you know, it's the process. I love the quilting. I don't need all this stuff, but I love the quilting, and I love the giving. And so I decided that this Christmas, every family I would give a gift to is either going to get a wall hanging, a table runner, or napkins, or placemats. Now I love, in fact, I took a picture of the pattern so it's always on my phone. That's a tip for you. At the Stitch and Post, Valerie Wells, she designed a placemat pattern that's in a card. It's very reasonable. You can mail order it. It'll come in a letter, you know, but it's really cute placemats for like focus fabrics. And I keep that pattern on my phone because if I'm out shopping, I will see some fabric that I want to get, and I'll know exactly how much to get to make the placemats. So where did I go? Okay, so this Christmas I'm doing table runners, placemats, cloth napkins. Yes, we use cloth napkins. It kind of decreases the using paper, you know, paper towels. It's more fun, uses up the stash, and so I cut like a 12 or 18 inch square and then just serge the edge or zigzag the edge, and then I have a nice cloth napkin, and I keep them all folded up. I can see all my stash all folded up in a basket, in a wicker basket in my kitchen. And so when I set the table, I just grab a couple cloth napkins, you know. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to see. I especially like to use napkins that have some writing on it because it's fun to read them, you know. Okay, back to the Christmas list. So I'm going to do napkins, placemats, table runners, and that's what I'm just going to make. I've always been kind of a make it kind of present person, but this year I just need to get some things quilted and onto a new place to be loved. Which means that I should start quilting now, not on December 1st. Yeah, because isn't that what we normally do, is that we say, oh, I've got to make some Christmas presents. What day is it? Oh, December 1st, and I've got to get it done and in the mail. I'm not doing that. So every month I'm going to at least make or quilt something that will be a gift at Christmas. Yeah, I love my dreams. I love those big, big dreams I have. I am definitely a dreamer. So that's where I was at. Oh, and we have to do the giveaways. So I did the random picker with the comment. Yeah, I know, this is going to be in the middle of the video. So the winner of the Yazzie travel wallet. That red Yazzie travel wallet. Isn't that awesome? And it's so funny. I know I digress. I'm all over the place today. But it's because I had a shower. Yeah. Well, I was stitching and I couldn't get the thread threaded in my needle. And I said, there's got to be a threader around here someplace. And I'm usually what happens is I stand in the center of the room and I say, I need this. Where would I have put it? Yeah. And then I remembered, oh, I put it in my Yazzie travel wallet that's embellished with Sue Spargo's pattern. And there it was. I mean, I am so freaking organized sometimes. It is like, oh, who am I? But the winner of this gorgeous red travel wallet, so awesome, is, oh, drum roll, Michelle Gregerson. Michelle, you get to embellish a wallet, a Yazzie wallet. Yes. So please, I'm going to put my email address in the description box. Email me at woolymammoth1@gmail.com and I'll get this out into the mail to you once I can get out of my house. Yeah. You're going to love it. You're going to love it. So since I'm talking about giveaways, how about the gnomes? Well, I think these gnomes are named Ian and Graham. Yes. Yes, the winner of the gnomes is Graham, the Yorkshire boy. Oh, he is an amazing quilter. He is an amazing quilter. And if you get a chance to follow his Instagram, you are going to get so many good ideas for quilting. So many good ideas for quilting. Is that all there is? No, there was one more thing. So I never heard from the winner who was going to take this off my hands. You know, it's already stitched. It just needs to be made into something. Look at that bunny. But I never heard from the winner, so I redrew again. And the winner for this is LaDonna Ousley. So please send me an email with your mailing address and I will get that in the mail to you. So that was kind of fun, huh? That was kind of fun. So back to stitching. So I'm just kind of going around the edge with the blanket, plain old blanket stitch. And the thing about blanket stitch or whip stitch is that you want to try to, and it's, you know, no one's going to be measuring your work. But you try to make the same distance between each leg and the same length of each leg. And you just eyeball it. It's primitive. I know I say that all the time to make excuses for my work, but that's what it is. So once I get this one done, then I'll move on to start stitching that February one. So yeah, I decided to start preparing for Christmas. Oh my gosh, is it crazy or what? Yeah. And we're going to be doing, I'm going to be down in Sisters doing a Zoom wool stitch class and hang out and sew live on April 1st for those who are available. And I hope I see a bunch of friendly faces, because Isn't that what we miss? Our friendly faces. Yeah. So see? Yeah. That's just gonna, you know, and then on the back, you can't really see it. And then afterwards I just kind of trim up the little fray parts. But this isn't meant to have a binding around it. Although, if you wanted to, you could. It's your project. You can do whatever you want. So, for a couple days there, we were hearing the constant pop, crackle, pop of the trees, branches breaking. You know, it'd been 40 years since they had something like this, and it was, I mean, the city basically shut down. We haven't been out of our house since, I think Thursday. And today is Monday. Yeah, it's supposed to get warmer. And what that means is that it's going to be a sloppy mess. Because there is quite a bit of snow and ice melting. I mean, every so often I hear a crash, and it's the chunks of ice that are sliding off of people's roofs. Yeah, and oh, the trees. I mean, the trees in our backyard, some of them, yeah, are, I mean, when things leaf out, it might look better, but they kind of look like Dr. Seuss trees right now. And I'm not sure all these trees will survive because they look pretty beat up. Pretty beat up. But that is, so many other people have really had a lot of loss with this storm. I mean, the fact that the storm went from coast to coast is amazing. Yeah, we couldn't have our grandson on Sunday because we literally couldn't get out of here, and they wanted, I mean, it's really incredible. In the state of Oregon, one of the most amazing things that we have is called Trip Check, and I'm not sure if other states have it statewide like we have it statewide, because I know that our Trip Check goes right into Northern California, and then after that you're kind of, I don't know where you'd look, but maybe there is. But what our Trip Check is like is you can go online. So I have my phone whenever we travel. I have my phone, I go on Trip Check, and it lists all the highways that are closed, any car accidents that happen. I mean, it's pretty extensive, and all the cameras statewide. So if you like, when we travel over the mountain, I'll check what the pass looks like, you know, and I can see if cars are actually going. Is it safe enough that cars are actually going? It was so eerie. It was like, what was that movie with Will Smith? Was it I Am Legend? Where he was like the only guy left after a pandemic. Wasn't it a pandemic? In New York City. And like the streets were empty. It was really something. It was really something to kind of look at a freeway and not see anybody on it. I mean, it was that bad. It was that bad, yeah. And I just, Mother Nature was having an issue for some reason. I guess I do this sometimes to untwist my untwist my thread. So see how that's going? See how that? Yeah. I saw, I got an email from Sue Spargo's 2022 itinerary. I've always wanted to go on a river cruise. I've always wanted to go on a river cruise. I mean, it's so exciting to think about. I'm going to have to think about that. I know I'll never get G to go. Maybe I could get Robin to go? Maybe. Just the whole idea. River cruise, I mean, I'll never go on a, I shouldn't say never. Whenever you say never, it means that it's going to happen. It's kind of like when I earlier this month said I was never going to be shopping for more stuff for quilting. Ha! I went in for one ball of thread and came out with fabric. It's just, you know, that's the way it goes. So, but I know I won't be able to get G on a cruise ship. He is done with that part of his life. And, but a river cruise is smaller and more intimate, and yeah, I'm really thinking about that one. But it looked like fun. So if you went on to Sue Spargo's site, you could see those river cruise things. They looked quite fascinating. I miss traveling. I don't know about you, but I mean, I miss international traveling. I guess, you know, my mother was quite the nomad, and she, for a while there, had a travel agency. When she was in her, I think she was in her 70s when she started a travel agency. Yeah, I mean, she was fearless, absolutely fearless, that woman. Yeah. Oh, I better, my thread is getting shredded. This is, I'm going to knot it off and get me another piece. And the way I knot off is I just make a knot, and then I bury it in between the layers, and I come up somewhere in the middle of my so I'm just making a knot. Greg's favorite tree made it through the storm, so I was happy for him. In his music room, there's a tree that literally comes up. He's on the second floor. Comes up in the in front of his window, and we just, we haven't been here for all the seasons, and so we can just imagine that in the spring and the fall, it's probably a fabulous fabulous tree to have. I kind of shredded the red. Yeah. No one's going to see it but me, huh? I'm just pushing the loose hairs down in between the layers so you won't see it. I'm toying with the idea of trying to figure out if I can do some videos that include some of my friend designers around the world, that because we can't at least for this year, it's looking more and more difficult to travel, you know, and for designers in you know, designers like in Australia, this is their good weather for traveling, you know, and so, oh, I should use, instead of trying to force myself, I should use my needle threader. There we go. Oh, makes life so much simpler. Why we force ourselves to struggle? So did I convince any of you to watch Resident Alien? Oh my God, you talk about, you know, I have rarely seen my husband laugh out loud at a show, you know. He's kind of a, you know, I say it's like his British genes, not blue jeans, you know. His British genes, because he's very polite, and I think I may be the only one who can see what emotion's going on, because he doesn't reveal a lot. And this show makes him laugh out loud. It's the goofiest sci-fi show, and even for those of you that aren't sci-fi fans, it's such a goofy, laugh out loud kind of show that I am almost enjoying it more watching it with him than, you know, than just to see his reaction to it. And it's, for us, it's on the Sci-Fi Channel, and for us, it's on Friday, no, wrong, Wednesday nights at 10 o'clock. So we can't stay up. We don't stay up that late to watch TV. And so we watch it on demand, or whatever that's called. Yeah. Well, I'm probably boring you. But I so appreciate you hanging out with me here, and let me just ramble and talk, because I surely needed it after that stressful morning of trying to do a live video. That was that was so, you know, you realize how old you feel or are when there's things that are such a conundrum, you know, like, you know, you're trying to figure it out and you just can't. So needless to say, thank you for listening to me. I read all of your comments. I read them all, and so many of you have, you know, there's so many that are feeling exactly like I feel, you know, in this day and age, and I kind of think we've got to be kinder to ourselves. We got to stop setting all these limitations, you know, and just enjoy what we can enjoy and be generous and kind to each other. What do you say, huh? Okay, we'll see you the next time. Thank you so much, and don't forget, the winners of those giveaways, you gotta let me know your address, because otherwise I'm moving on. Talk to you later. Bye.